Hey folks, welcome back. Well, we got the 79 Lincoln back in here again, and we're going to talk about the little issue this thing was having, just starting from, let's say, like a stop and go sign or something like that. You know, if you just on a normal type acceleration, you'd have just a little bit of a hesitation before it would just take off and go. If you went really slow with the throttle, it wouldn't really do it, but you know, if you went really, really fast, it wouldn't really die, but it sure acted like it wanted to, um, before it would, you know, basically, I guess, like catch and go. And so I'm going to talk about what we found on this one here, and then I'm also going to talk about uh, something that could cause the same issue, and also some other types of issues on a carburetor that I had. It was on a still Motorcraft carburetor 2-barrel on a 1975 Ford pickup, and it's going to be very similar to the carburetor that's on this thing. So anyways, let's get into that. Okay, so first thing, obviously, you need to gain access to the top of the carburetor with the by removing the air cleaner. Okay, so if your car is cold, you'll have to just stick a screwdriver or something to get the choke to open up a little bit. And then I don't know how well this is gonna show up with the lights I've got going on, but if you look right in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and operate the throttle just by pushing it just like that, and then look in here and show, you see them two little streams right there? All right, so what was going on was the one on this side wasn't even working at all, maybe just a dribble or something. And you can take the top of this carburetor off with it in the car, and I'll show you how to do that. That way you can pull the piece out and clean those jets out, which is most likely what it needs. If you don't have anything, it's either both the jets are clogged up, or you've got right here your accelerator pump, which is, you know, if you clean that and you put it back in here and you find out it's the accelerator pump, you can replace that individually, but by then you're probably just really needing a carburetor rebuild. So anyways, let's we're not going to use this carburetor, but we're going to use another Motorcraft carburetor that's very similar to show how to do that. All right, so we got this one here. I don't think it's the exact same model, but it's very similar. And remember, we were looking right down in here. So first thing what we need to do is we've got to get the top of this carburetor off. And so this one right here, we've got this screw here, and this one right here. And then some of them, depending on different models, will have some screws back here. This one doesn't look like it does. And then right now we don't have the choke hooked up, you know, because there isn't a choke on this one here. But if you did, when you pull this off, you're not going to be able to get it out. You're just going to have to be able to just kind of tip it and just kind of, you know, set it aside a little bit unless you detach this line right here. But anyways, let's get those screws out. Now, like what I was talking about, this carburetor has two screws back here, along with these two up front, so you'd have 6 to take off on this particular carburetor. All right, so once you loosen these screws, this top will come off here. As you gasket it, it'll usually, most of the time they stay down like this, but sometimes they'll stick up here, or sometimes they'll do both. One on here and like this, and that's what you don't want to rip it if you're just trying to get in here and clean this. You know, here's your float. So you want to make sure this will come into play a little bit later when we talk about the issues with the power valve, which can also cause this hesitation issue. But we're talking about the these two streams right here that for your accelerator pump. So now we need to get this flat screw out right there. Like I said, all of what I'm doing right now can all be done on the car because I just did it on that one. there's that. So this is not exactly a screw, but some kind of a metering valve or whatever. You'll have to line it up because eventually it will go over the top of this little movable pin. It'll be in here like this, and then it'll thread in there like that through that hole right there. So anyways, what you do is you get like some carb cleaner and something or other, and let me find some. And you're going to go right in here. See them two holes? Another one there. It's not really in focus. But if you go right in here and you spray, hopefully this is not going to get all over my camera. See how good that's sprayed now? Yep. Yeah, good stream right there, but that's pretty much all you do. And then obviously you'd want to clean out, you know, some of the deals here and, you know, spray in here. And I'm not going to do all that with this camera and all that stuff right there, but I already took a chance with it enough. But anyways, you do have a gasket in here. You need to watch out and make sure it's in good shape and didn't break pieces off of it, because if you did, you'd have to buy all that stuff, you know, to get it, because it's not going to work right if you don't. This little pin, like I told you, what you can do is you can leave this out. Usually kind of push this forward a little bit, get this thing kind of started over the top of that. If you have to, you can take a screwdriver. I got it in there, but you can see it right there. And then just start in with the screw and just kind of, you'll feel it there lined up. So screw that back down. And that will fix, most likely, your accelerator pump by cleaning those jets out and getting two nice little streams going in there. And that fixed the hesitation on this Lincoln here. That's all we needed to do. Got lucky on that. But I will go through another part of this carburetor that can cause the same thing. So I'm going to get this top all screwed back down on here. So you'd want to, well, don't want to forget the gasket. Doesn't matter on this carburetor, but we just don't want to forget it. That way if I do rebuild this carburetor at some point, I can get the right gasket and everything. Okay. Okay, now for the next thing, they call the power valve. You will have to get the carburetor off of the car, and you'll have to get it flipped over, and you're accessing right in here. So we need to get these screws out, which they're all loose. And this one must have been doing something with it. That's what they call this thing. So there's a gasket here on that, or sometimes it stays on here. These things are usually tight. You can't just get them out of here. Apparently I must have been doing something on here. Now there's supposed to be a gasket on here. These power valves themselves can cause issues with the hesitation and this, that, and the other, because these kind of work off of this side, on this side of the down in here, obviously. I'm not exactly sure how these work, but you know, the more vacuum gets pulled on this, they do different things, and it lets fuel in and out. based on a vacuum amount. This one here's got a number 6 on it. I don't know what numbers they range from, whether you need more fuel faster, or that you would go with a higher number. I would go with looking up a power valve, just a dedicated power valve video of some kind or whatever, to be able to figure out what you might need to do if you need to change it. Most likely, sometimes, if it's not sealing right in here, you're going to leak vacuum past here without getting any fuel to it, so that'll cause hesitation. The other thing too is if this gasket right here, which I had when this carburetor used to be on a 1975 Chevy pickup, or no, Ford pickup, and the linkages were all really messed up and pretty worn out. So we just got a rebuilt carburetor, the whole body and everything like that, and it worked good for the guy for about, I don't know, doesn't matter, a few months, 6 months or something like that. And then all of a sudden it got to the point where it was just completely running rich. I mean, there's nothing, it was just like that. And what had happened was the gasket had blown out, and then you're just getting fuel past here. And how I realized that it was this was, I told you about the float deal was in here. I should have left this top off, but I had removed the top of this deal, and even though this thing was running rich, the fuel bowl was empty. That was kind of a weird clue at first, and I realized, wait a minute, if that gasket blew out of here, all of your fuel is going to be leaking out of here and down in the end, making it run too rich. And so what I have found is the gaskets on these deals, because I've replaced these before, I've rebuilt some carburetors myself, and then I had this one that was professionally rebuilt done. I think we got to send him this deal still yet. I think that's what I actually got to do with it. I got to call that guy. Never mind. I'm thinking out loud. And I've had these gaskets, but the gaskets they make just suck. So I got that guy that rebuilt some other carburetors for me, told me about getting some rubber nitrile O-rings to stick on here, and that is what he says fixes these. And I'm eventually going to do it on this car. I'm not going to do it right yet in this video or anything like that, but because this car right now doesn't have any hesitation or anything like that. We fixed it with the accelerator pump streams there. One was all plugged up, but you can have that same type of symptom with one of these, and you probably ought to just replace and get that nitrile, because it comes with like a paper-ish type gasket like this, just a little ring, fits right around here, but that's just not gonna fly. But you can see this kind of a ridge right here. If you just get an O-ring, it'll fit right around there. And let's see if we can find one in my little pack that I got. I misspoke a little bit. These are not nitrile. That's what they make a lot of oil filter seals. These are Viton O-rings. You want to make sure that they're resistant to aggressive fuels and chemicals. Like this is compatible with biodiesel, ethanol, and all kinds of stuff. So they'll last. A regular rubber O-ring would not last. So if you pick one about this size, I would probably go with that guy maybe, or probably go with that. That fits just right around that ridge there, that. And then get this all lubricated up with something. I use Vaseline or something like that, and just get this stuck in here and go really easy. And then you just have to work it around to make sure it's all straight in there, and then just snug it up. Don't get crazy, because it is an O-ring. And Dad told me that this will work wonders on these power valves. Pretty much just in there like that. And that's pretty much hand tight. I'd probably go just so, I obviously didn't lubricate this one, but go a little bit more. But I would take a you know, wrench or a crescent wrench, or I mean a pair of channel locks or something like that, and just kind of turn this another quarter turn or another half turn or something like that. And that's how that would go, and it'll work just fine, work better even. So anyways, that's the two things it could cause. And there's other things that can cause, you know, a hesitation and all that. You kind of want to know, those are about the first things you want to check, but you also kind of want to be able to make sure that your vacuum system is not having some kind of a, just letting too much air in, you're just running way too lean. A lot of vacuum lines on one of these things. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit with that problem. And anyways, thanks for watching.